Hello ladies and gentlemen, Tevaron here, and welcome back to Eternal. This time, not actual gameplay. We're going to be doing something a bit different again. The Dusk Road, which is the new set, just launched today. I actually was unaware that it was launching so soon, as I haven't been paying a ton of attention to spoilers and announcements of that sort. But thanks to the event over the weekend, we were able to earn a few reward packs here. So what we're going to be doing is cracking these and taking a look at some of the new cards. So, let's begin. If it will open, there we go. Alright, Crackshot Fugitive. When Crackshot Fugitive attacks, she gets +1/+1 this turn for each of your units wielding a weapon. Gunslinger, okay. Tumblebang. It's a Grenadin. Entomb, you get +3 power this turn. Oh, that's interesting. Let's see what the rare is. Nocturnal Observer. Summon Nightfall. Alright, so that is the new mechanic in the set. Night, when you start a turn at night, draw an additional card and take 1 damage. Nightfall. The first Nightfall card played in a turn makes it night and extends it by a turn for each player. Alrighty. You may exhaust Nocturnal Observer at night to draw a card, then discard a card. That's interesting. I'm not really sure how the Nightfall mechanic is going to affect the game. I'm sure it will affect it in some manner. Trusty Revolver. Entomb, create and draw a +1/+1 weapon. Okay. So it's basically itself twice. Once it dies, you get another one. Amaran Shoveler. Pay 2 and exhaust Amaran, one or the other. Shoveler to look at the top card of your deck. If it's a Sentinel or Relic, draw it, otherwise discard it. Not real sure how good that will be. There are a lot of Sentinels in Red and Time, especially like in the Praxis mid-range deck that already exists, so maybe. Final Shot Rioter, Gunslinger, Ally, Deadly. Several new Gunslingers and Grenadins. What are our little tooltips over here? Did you know Nightfall? Nightfall causes night to fall immediately. I never would have guessed. And last for a full turn cycle through the end of your turn, the enemy player's turn, and your next turn. Players draw an extra card and take 1 damage when starting their turn at night. This effect isn't owned by either player, so it's not blocked by Aegis or enhanced by Lifesteal. Good to know. Some cards specifically say that they are stronger or weaker at night. So it's a pretty heavy theme in this set, is what I'm gathering. Ally. Ally abilities happen as soon as you have a unit of the named type. This can be when you play the unit with Ally, or later if there's none of the needed type in play. Like other one-shot abilities, Ally resets if the unit dies or is returned to hand and can be used again. Okay, we must have opened a card with Ally and we just haven't come across it yet. Or maybe it's just giving us that since it's a new mechanic in the set. So that one is a vanilla 0-cost 0/3. Well, that will certainly help if they ever do another event like the one that every time you cast a spell you get a creature equal a random creature with its casting cost, because in that event your 0-cost spells always made the 0-cost 3/3 time guy, which was a little broken. Finn Comanut. Summon, you may discard a card to make Nightfall. Alrighty. There's a dinosaur. Another Gunslinger, Triggerman, Quick Draw Bond. When Triggerman attacks while wielding a weapon, he gets +2 attack this turn. So Bond, when played, you may exhaust another unit of the same type to reduce this card's cost by the exhausted unit's power. Okay, so kind of like Convoke in Magic, except this gives additional for its power. Alright, yeah, you get what I'm saying, I hope. Dusk Caller, summon Nightfall. Okay, just a 3/2 for 3 that adds to the Nightfall. Slope Sergeant has Bond, so it can cost less when we tap other Yetis to help cast it. When you bond Slope Sergeant, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. That is interesting. Huh. That seems pretty good. I don't know if Yetis will have the stuff to actually be a pretty good deck now. I mean, they were always okay, but maybe there are a lot of Yeti stuff in this set. Nocturnal Cryrix, Killer, Summon Nightfall. So that's a large cost for its power and toughness, even with Killer. Maybe the Nightfall is worth it. That remains to be seen, though. We don't really know how effective the Nightfall mechanic is going to be as a theme. Alright, another Gunslinger. Let's look at the rare right off the bat here. Devastating Setback. A spell. The enemy player discards a spell or attachment of your choice from their hand, or each unit gets -2/-2. I am always a fan of cards that give you a choice, so they're more versatile. That seems like it could be okay. Maybe. I could see Felon Control maybe wanting to play that. Kind of maybe as a 5th Lightning Storm or something, with the additional value of a discard spell. Oni Gunright, Gunslinger ally. So here's an ally thing. So if we already have a Gunslinger out, when we play this, it gets Warcry. Or if it's in play and we play a Gunslinger, it gets Warcry. Okay. And when it entombs, draw a weapon from your void. Huh. Valkyrie ally, Warcry, another ally ability on a weapon this time. Cool. That's a lot of armor on that thing. Affliction, the cursed unit gets -2/-1. I mean, that would be really effective versus the Skycrag and Stone Scar aggro decks. Unfortunately, laddering really doesn't allow you to sideboard, so I'm not sure how effective that would be on ladder. The last little bit, the aggro has kind of thinned out a bit. It's not nearly as prevalent. Wisplight, flying. Once per turn, you may pay 2 to give it +2 attack this turn. Not a real fan of that. Summon Scout. Scout, look at the top card of your deck. You may put it on the bottom, so scry. Okay. Gunslinger ally, play a +1/+1 weapon on Steady Marshal. Okay, that's cool. So it's potentially a 1-cost 2/3. Interesting. Maybe Gunslingers have enough stuff to actually be a tribe. This set feels very tribal so far. An Explorer, 2-cost 2/1, +1 maximum power. I mean, that's exactly what time needed, more cards to give you +1 maximum power. Summon, gain an influence of your choice. Oh, wow, it fixes your influence too. That card's really good, I think. Even if it dies, it fixes your factions. Alright, a weapon, +2/+2, and Scout, okay. Another one of those guys. Hissing Spiketail, a 4-cost 4/2 with Overwhelm. When you play another dinosaur, you gain 1 life. Alright. Disjunction, draw an attachment from your void or kill an enemy attachment. Now that card's a bit interesting. I know there are some Armory-esque decks that sometimes play time. That seems like a fairly decent card to put in there. Huh. Let's open the next one. Alright, Sandbinder Sentinel. Summon, play a Sandbind on an enemy unit with flying. So what does that do? The cursed unit can't fly. Right. Not real certain about that guy. Decent in draft, I'm sure. We've got an Unchecked Rage. The cursed unit and each other unit are reckless. Each other enemy unit. Just kind of skipped over that word for whatever reason. So we force their stuff to attack every turn? Seems weird. I mean, if we can establish a decent defense, then we can make them attack it every turn, not build up a massive board state so they can alpha strike us. Just, they have to attack into our huge creatures every turn. Yeah, not real sure I like that card. Another Trail Maker. Ruin Crawler Yeti. Summon, kill an enemy attachment. When Ruin Crawler When Ruin Crawler Yeti hits the enemy player, it gets +1 attack. That is a neat card. So are Yetis now going to be Skycrag colors? That's a pretty good Yeti, all things considered. I mean, the cost is maybe a little steep, I'm not sure. Wild Rider, another Yeti. When Wild Rider hits the enemy player, it gets +1 power. What's our new tooltip down here? Oh, just explaining Scout. Okay. Warcry, 3/7 for 6. Probably just strictly a draft card. Unseal, negate an enemy spell or curse. Oh. That would probably just straight up replace Backlash. Unless you're in a tempo deck, I suppose, where the 2 damage actually matters. I like that. Sinister Opportunist. Ultimate, pay 3 to give Sinister Opportunist +3/+3 if an enemy is cursed. Don't know how prevalent cursing is going to be. Prior to this set release, it wasn't all that common a thing as far as cursing the enemy player, but maybe it will be now. Maybe there's a lot more curses in this set. Dinosaur Ally, +3/+3. So potentially a 5-cost 6/6. Yeah, not real sure about that guy either. So a 6-cost relic weapon, a 4/2. Entomb, create and draw a +1/+1 weapon. That seems to be a little bit of a theme, doesn't it? Barkeep's Friend. Serene Excavator, flying. Sentinel Ally, +1/+1. Okay, so potentially a 3-cost 2/3 flyer. Alright, not too awfully bad, I suppose. Rare. Dangerous Bargain. Here's a curse. Summon, Nightfall. Steal the cursed unit until night ends. Ooh, that is neat. So it's a situational sort of control magic. There's another card in the game already that does this, that steals it. I don't think it has any other conditions. That's 8 cost. I can't remember the name of it right off the bat. Not sure if lowering the cost of it by 1 is worth being able to lose it, but sure. Tandem Watchwing, Valkyrie Ally, so potentially a 3/2 flyer for 3. Hellfire Oni, another gunslinger. Ultimate, when you play a weapon on Hellfire Oni, play an additional copy of that weapon on her. That seems pretty strong. Yep. 8 cost 3/4 with Flying, Overwhelm, and Bond. Maybe Bond's good enough that the cost isn't such an issue anymore? I don't know about that. Another Sinister Opportunist, Entrapment. Kill an attacking enemy unit. Entrapment can't be played at night. Okay, so here's something that kind of is against Nightfall. Interesting. Wonder if there are cards that end the night. Like, I know it said that you could add to how long night's going to last by playing other cards with Nightfall and kind of chaining them together. I wonder if there's some kind of an effect that just says end night no matter how many turns are pending. 5 cost 3/4, Powder Keg Rider, Overwhelm. Ultimate, when one of your other Grenadin dies, that's a big Grenadin. Powder Keg Rider gets +4 attack. Huh. Cover of Darkness, Nightfall, give 2 of your units unblockable this turn. Not real sure about that. That cost is pretty high. Lucky Prospector, Endurance, +2/+2 while you have a relic. That could potentially be useful as a 1-drop. There are some decks, some time decks that play a few relics. Praxis Midrange tends to run Power Stone. A lot of them run Xenon Obelisk. Of course, we don't know that any of the existing archetypes are actually going to survive once this set has infused the meta. Steady Marshal, another gunslinger. Play a +1. Oh yeah, we've seen him before. Yeah, he seems pretty good. Gunslingers seem to be pretty aggressive here. Alright. We've got a Devious Drone, Entomb, kill an enemy unit. That's not bad. I mean, as long as it doesn't get silenced. There are a ton of silence effects in the meta right now, though, so I don't know about that, especially at 4 cost. But I suppose cheaper than that would be probably just too good, especially in a Stone Scar Grenadin deck, which is pretty much what you would build a Grenadin deck in, with stuff like Combust to sacrifice it. Stone Scar Sawed Off, another weapon. Summon, exhaust an enemy unit. That seems okay-ish. Scale Tender, 3/3 dinosaur ally. Create and draw a 3/3 dinosaur with Overwhelm. Oh, that's interesting. Another Cover of Darkness, Ground Crew. Pay 1 and exhaust Ground Crew to give one of your Valkyrie +3/+3 this turn. It can't fly this turn. Not sure how much I like that. Another Wild Rider. Baying Sarasaur. Summon, Nightfall. When you draw a card, Baying Sarasaur gets +1/+1 this turn. Electropy? I'm not sure how you pronounce that. At the end of the cursed unit's turn, it deals 1 damage to its owner. I mean, if curses are a thing heavily enough supported that you can actually make a competitive deck built on curses, maybe you play that. Otherwise, that seems just awful. Jump Kick, give a unit +1/+1 in flying this turn. Sure. Not sure that's better than Levitate. Maybe the +1/+1 is better than drawing a card? I doubt it, though. Maybe there's a deck that wants to play more than 4 give a unit flying effects. Final Shot Rioter. Gunslinger ally Deadly. Sure. Not real keen on that. The power and toughness for cost isn't great. Another one of those guys. Ooh. A weapon that gives Aegis. That is interesting. I mean, the cost is rather high for the +2/+1, but Aegis is pretty good. Alright, had to take a break for a second. Forgot to get a drink for myself before I started recording, and my throat is getting a bit dry from all of this talking. Let's see what we've got coming up. Rare, Combustion Cell. This was one of the cards that were in the event this weekend. Once per turn, you may sacrifice a unit to get +1 power this turn. If it was a Grenadin, get +2 power this turn instead. Alright, I mean, maybe there's a combo deck that can be fueled with that. Oni Cave Diver, an Explorer Oni. +2 attack while you have a relic. Ultimate, pay 2 to scout. That's not bad. Overall, power and toughness for cost. Huh. Repulsive Gorger, a 7-cost 7/4. Summon, you may sacrifice another unit to give each enemy unit -1/-1. And that's permanent. It doesn't say this turn. 7 cost is really high, but maybe this is playable? Most likely just a draft card, though. Another Jump Kick. Premonition Wasp. A 3-cost 2/2. Ultimate, when you gain life, play a 4/4 Restless Radiant. That seems okay. In the Xenon Life Gain deck, if this survives for a turn, or if you just have out the little guy that gains you a life every time you play a power, then that's a pretty good value. Barbarian Camp, a relic. Your units have +1 attack. So this is an Orcish Oriflamme of sorts? Okay. Not sure about that. Seems like only aggressive decks would want that, and that's not a super aggressive cost, though. Maybe. Kind of a permanent Bandit Queen, except without the quick draw. Another Steady Marshal. Far Place Finder, a Yeti that scouts. That's okay. Valkyrie Arcanist. A 3/3 flyer for 5 with Entomb, create and draw a +3/+3 Gem Blade. I mean, there's a lot of value there. I'm just not sure that 5 cost for a 3/3 stat line is good enough. Maybe the Entomb makes it so? Amber Waystone. Gain time. Then if you have time, you gain 2 life. Oh, this is a power card. Oh. And it doesn't come into play depleted. Wonder what the other ones do with that. Right next to it's the shadow one. So, you just play these, right? There's no reason not to play this as a 4 of in whatever faction you're playing, right? There's no drawback to it unless I'm missing something. That's awesome. Okay, Amethyst Waystone, gain Shadow. Then if you have Shadow, Nightfall. Alright. I guess you might not want to play that if you're not wanting it to be night. I guess the drawback is, though, that as far as your seats, they can't come into play undepleted if all you have is one of these, as these aren't actually sigils. Interesting. I like that. Alright, another entrapment. Alright, rare. Corrupt. 2 cost. Steal an enemy spell played on you or one of your units and redirect it to an enemy. That has some interesting implications. Say redirect an obliterate to one of your opponent's creatures or directly to their face? Huh. Don't know how main deckable that is, which is what really matters on the ladder, but as far as like tournaments that allow sideboards, that seems real good. Maybe it is main deckable though. Most decks do play things that you could redirect. Interesting. Roland's Intervention. 1 cost, give an enemy unit -3 attack this turn, or give a unit or weapon in your hand +1/+1, or give one of your Valkyries Aegis. That is a super... what's the word I'm looking for? Versatile. That's it. Super versatile. I like spells with choices. I would imagine that you're most often going to want to give a weapon or unit +1/+1 or give a Valkyrie Aegis, but yeah, I always am a fan of cards that give you options. Frenzied Omnivore, which just happens to be dining on a people person right now. 5 cost, 4/3. When an enemy unit dies, Frenzied Omnivore gets +1/+1. That's permanent. Summon, you may discard a card to give Frenzied Omnivore Killer. That card seems okay. Summon Scout. Okay, Backpacker's Machete, or Machete, however you choose to pronounce that. Ooh, Vara's Intervention, another choicey type card. Give a unit -1 health. Okay, that's permanent. Or give one of your units unblockable this turn, or draw an unseen from your void. Not real sure how to evaluate that. I'd have to go through and look at all of the unseen that are available. But again, it is a card that gives choices, so that definitely ups its potential to be played. Wanted Poster. 1 cost, Curse. When the cursed unit dies, draw 2 cards. I'm not real sure what to think about that. I believe that curses cannot be played on your own units. I may be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. You can't play a curse on your own thing. And curses aren't fast, so that's really easy to silence. It may stop an aggressive deck from attacking with the cursed creature. Yeah, not real sure about Wanted Poster. First impression seems pretty bad. Cover of Darkness, okay. Another Slope Sergeant, Frontier Confessor. Summon, you may silence another unit. Alright, yet another silence effect for the game, though this one is kind of expensive. It is a gunslinger though, so if the gunslinger deck is a thing, then maybe this is something that you would play over Valkyrie. Valkyrie Enforcer's what I'm meaning to say. Sorry if I was a bit ambiguous there. Spark Hatcher. 2 cost, 2/1 Grenadin. Entomb, play a 1/1 Grenadin. Seems okay. Heroic Bravo. Okay, so it has bond. It's a 8 cost 4/4, but it has bond, so it could be cheaper when you tap other gunslingers to cast it. When you bond Heroic Bravo, he deals 2 damage to an enemy. Interesting, so he's potentially extra damage and or removal, and he does have Overwhelm. Another Amethyst Waystone. I'm interested to see what the other Waystones are. Alright. Hope we open a legendary here, that would be nice. Hideout Pistol. 1 attack, no armor. Okay, it's not a relic weapon. I was confused there for a second. Never mind, sorry. Summon. If played on a gunslinger, kill an enemy unit with less power than the wielder. Interesting. I'm guessing it checks the power comparison after adding the +1. Makes it a bit more useful. That could be very good. Huh. Alright, another Surveying Mantisaur. Caleb's Intervention. Play a 1/1 Grenadin, or give one of your units +2/+2 and overwhelm this turn, or kill an enemy weapon. Alright, it is a shame that it's not fast. Fast would make the +2/+2 and overwhelm a lot more useful, but again, it is a card that's giving you several options, so maybe okay. Jump Kick. 9 cost 7/8 Sentinel with Overwhelm and Bond. No additional effects for bonding, but you can definitely make it cheaper. It doesn't say... Okay, so you can only bond once. You may exhaust another unit of the same type to reduce this card's cost by the exhausted unit's power. So you can't... From what I'm gathering reading this, I couldn't exhaust 2 Sentinels and have them both bond with this. Alright. Soaring Guard, flying. Summon, you gain 2 armor. I mean, it's okay. It is a Valkyrie, so supports that tribe. An Unseen. Unseen Agent, unblockable, and summon it. You gain Nightfall. Well, the board gains Nightfall. Everyone's in night, not just you. Another one of those. Lost in the Mist, 4 cost. Put an enemy unit into the enemy player's hand with cost increased by 2. Not real sure about that. Seems like it could be okay-ish. Another Electropy. Alright. Lunar Magus. 3 cost 2/4, summon Nightfall. When you start your turn at night, you gain 4 life. Alright, that is the first Nightfall card I've seen that seems pretty good. I wonder if the Xenon Nightfall, the Xenon Life Gain deck is going to also be a Nightfall deck now. I mean, otherwise, it's an okay stat line, a 2/4 for 3. Yeah, really interested to see how Nightfall shakes out over the coming days and weeks. Valkyrie Cadet, a 1/1, has flying and double damage while wielding a weapon. Okay. Not sure that is something that would ever replace a card like Silverwing Familiar. The Aegis seems a whole lot better than double damage and flying, especially since this doesn't fly on its own at 3 cost. Curse of Taxation, the cursed player has -1 maximum power. Alright. Not really seen a cheap way to curse your opponent yet, like a 1 or 2 cost curse that hits the opposing player. Lost in the Mist, Bellowing Thunderfoot. 7 cost 4/5 with bond. When you bond Bellowing Thunderfoot, stun an enemy unit. Seems like that could be okay. It is a dinosaur, so, and dinosaurs tend, the focus of them tends to be primal in time, so maybe there's a deck there now. Another Backpacker's Machete. Another Amber Waystone. I really want to see the other ones. We've not seen Justice, Fire, or Primal yet. Cover of Darkness, Entrapment. Spirit Blade Stalker, ultimate, pay 5 to give one of your units +1/+1 in lifesteal. First glance doesn't seem so good. Maybe it's okay. Time Worn Sentinel, a 3/6 for 6 Endurance Explorer ally. Okay, so this allies with Explorers and draw a card. Picky Grenadin. Summon. The enemy player discards a card of their choice. A card of their choice from their hand. Okay. Seems okay-ish, I suppose. A 1/2 for 3 is not great. Maybe the discard effect's worth playing it? Kinda doubt it. Alright, we've got Caltrops. This is a curse. The cursed unit has -5 attack. The enemy player can't play cards with the name of the cursed unit. Huh. That's interesting. Put that on some huge monster that you don't want to deal with another copy of, maybe. Don't know how playable it is, like ladder-wise, but seems marginal, maybe? A Fearless Yeti, a 3/1 for 2 with Overwhelm. When it hits an enemy player, scout. That seems pretty good for Yetis. Recycler, a 3-cost 2/2 ultimate. When one of your other units dies, create and draw a +3/+2 fix-it with Overwhelm. So that looks like it's a weapon. That thing seems okay. Grenadin tend to get a lot of utility. Doing things when they die and such. Yeah, that seems okay. Not, broken or anything, but okay. Another one of those. Drifting Death. A 6-cost 3/2 with flying and lifesteal. And when it dies, draw a curse from your void. Not sure how I feel about that at 6 cost. It's interesting for sure. Unpredictable Outlaw, another very aggressively costed gunslinger here. 2-cost 2/2. Please stay up there. When you play a weapon on Unpredictable Outlaw, exhaust an enemy unit. That is a useful ability too. Huh. 4-cost, Ironclad Oath. It's a fast spell. Give one of your units +4/+4 this turn. You gain 1 armor for each of your Valkyrie. Yeah. This doesn't compare really favorably to Finest Hour, that's for sure. You're paying 3 extra power to get 1 additional +1/+1 and gain a little bit of armor. It doesn't strike me as super good. Disjunction, draw an attachment from your void or kill an enemy attachment. We've seen that before. Again, I think that might be okay. Another one of these guys. Town Watchman. Or maybe this is not. We saw at least something similar to this already. 3/7 with Warcry. Thought the art was different though, so maybe it was a completely different card. Anyway, I mean, it's okay. I don't think it's constructed playable. Seems more like a draft card to me. Ancient Bauble. This is a really cheap relic. Once per turn, you may pay 1 to gain 1 life. Or health, as this game calls it. That seems okay. Maybe in conjunction with some of the cards that care about you having a relic, like we saw earlier. Lost in the Mist. Maimed Watchwing, a 3-cost 2/3. It can't block. Valkyrie ally flying. Not real sure about that either. I mean, it seems okay. Alright, we have still not hit a legendary, which we're not guaranteed to. There's another Corrupt. Dark Bolt. Deal 1 damage to an enemy unit. At night, deal 5 damage instead. There's a card that really wants it to be night, that's for sure. Pretty unplayable in day, but if you can manage to have night all the time, that's a really good removal spell. First Watch, Nightfall. You gain 8 health. Not a real fan of straight life gain cards, but it does do Nightfall, so maybe it has a place. Temple Raider, Charge, Sentinel Ally, +2/+2. Well, if you have the Sentinel Ally, if you have a Sentinel out in play when you play this, and I know Ally also works if you play a Sentinel after the fact here. A 3-cost 4/4 with Charge, though, seems really good. Whirling Duo, Lifesteal Charge. 3 cost 3/3 with Lifesteal and Charge. That seems pretty good. It's a gunslinger too, and it's in the correct colors for what most of the good gunslingers we've seen so far want. Oh, Emerald Waystone. Gain Justice, then if you have 4 Justice, you gain 1 armor. It's okay. I mean, none of these are like overwhelmingly broken, but the additional utility is pretty good. Another Heroic Bravo, another one of these dudes. Iceberg Frontrunner, a 1 cost 1/2 with charge. Seems like a dedicated Jedi deck would want to play that. Wild Rider, we've seen that. Entrapment, yep, we've seen all the rest of these. As we open more and more of these packs, we're going to run across repeats, and we have hit a legendary. Let's look at the rest of these first, though, right? Let's just hold off on that legendary. Valkyrie Bodyguard, flying. Valkyrie Bodyguard can't attack unless you have armor. Well, armor does seem to be a theme with the Valkyries so far in this set. Slush Dumper. Ultimate, pay 4 to give Slush Dumper +1/+1 for each of your Yeti. Each of your Yeti deals 1 damage to the enemy player. That seems pretty good. Pair that up with Wump Party Starter, and that's a lot of damage you can do to the enemy without actually having to attack. And a 3/3 for 4 doesn't seem too bad either. Oh, yeah. Hissing Spike Tail, we've seen that. Ooh, Talir's Intervention, the time version. You gain 3 life, or put one of your explorers or sentinels into your hand, or silence an attacking enemy unit, and it's fast. That seems okay. Not real big on the gaining life, though I guess in a pinch it could be useful. Silencing an attacking enemy unit can situationally be very useful. I mean, that's the great thing about choices, right? Situations. Yeah, Temple Raider. I think that guy might be good. Trailmaker. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Trailmaker's good. Not real positive about that one. Ooh, a Stampede Driver. An Explorer. A 5 cost 3/3. Summon. You may discard a card to give one of your other units +1/+1 in Overwhelm. If it's a dinosaur, it gets +2/+2 in Overwhelm instead. Not going to try to evaluate that right off the bat. It seems okay. Another Waystone. Emerald Spear, a 6 cost 3/3 relic weapon. Valkyrie Ally, play a 2/2 soldier. Alright, if you actually have the ally portion of this, 6 cost for a 3/3 weapon, relic weapon, and a 2/2 soldier seems okay. But what we're really interested in is, what is this legendary? Alright, that's a lot of time. It's a dinosaur, a 5 cost 6/7. I mean, that's a really good rate if you have the time available there. World Bearer Behemoth, Overwhelm. When World Bearer Behemoth attacks, play 1 random power card from your deck. Then increase this ability by 1. Alright. Well, that's definitely a card that's worthy of being called a legendary. The effect is real powerful. This card, it does have to survive a turn. It doesn't really affect the board the turn you play it, so not real sure. Still, a 5 cost 6/7 is really good. And the ability to rip power out of your deck as time goes on, yeah, this card has potential of being played not even just in a dinosaur deck, just straight up in time. This seems, in any deck that could support it, an okay inclusion. Again, it does have to survive the turn and be able to attack to start getting the real benefit from it, but yeah, that guy's pretty good, I think. Alright, our rare, Sure Shot. 6 cost, 6/5. It has +3/+3 for each weapon she's wielding, and has Overwhelm while she has 18 attack or more. Alright. Maybe this is the top end of a gunslinger deck? Most of the gunslingers we've seen so far, though, are really aggressively costed. In my mind, just looking at this seems like a card that's just begging you to pile a bunch of stuff on it so that when it dies, you get 4 or 5 for 1, which seems bad. Very well could be wrong about that, though. Disassembler, a 2-cost 2/2. When one of your Grenadin, including Disassembler, dies, deal 1 damage to the enemy player. That's a good Grenadin. Another Vara's Intervention. Ageless Sentinel, a vanilla 3/5 for 4. It's not exciting. Improvised Rubbler, 7-cost, 5/5 relic weapon. And when we summon it, we get 2 Grenadin. Not real sure about the cost on that 7. Seems like a lot. But it's also doing a lot, so maybe it's good enough. Yeti Wind Flyer, flying. Yeti ally, +1/+1. So potentially a 2/2 flyer in Yetis. I mean, it's okay. If a Yeti deck turns out to be good now, then they probably want to run that. Ooh, the Fire Waystone. Gain a fire, then if you have 4 fire, create and draw a 1/1 Grenadin. I mean, that's okay. That seems like the most impactful effect of the Waystones that we've seen so far. It would be much more impactful if it just put a 1/1 Grenadin into play, but that would probably be bordering on broken. Frontier Confessor. 5-cost 3/4. Oh yeah, we've seen that. That's the Gunslinger Silence. Summon Scout. Yep. Valkyrie Arcanist. We've seen that. Copperhall Porter. Entomb. Draw a Justice Sigil from your deck. 2-cost 2/1. I mean, that's okay. Not anything to write home about, but it's definitely okay. Alrighty. Street Leecher. 4-cost 3/4 with Warcry Ultimate. When you play a weapon on Street Leecher, give an enemy unit and each copy in the enemy hand and deck -1/-1. And it is a Gunslinger. So I'm still not sure which direction the Gunslinger deck would want to go, whether it would be Justice, Fire, or some combination with Shadow here. I'm reluctant to think that it would be a 3-faction deck, especially since some of them do have doubles in their faction requirements. Seems like something that an aggressive deck wouldn't want to do. It is interesting, though. That effect, okay, especially if the enemy unit you end up giving -1/-1 happens to only have 1 health. Panoptic Guardian. 6-cost 2/5 with Ambush, Fate. See the top card of your deck this turn. Doesn't seem great. Ground Crew. Yep, we've seen that before. Another Waystone. We've seen that. Alright, this card's new. Umbran Coaxer. 5-cost 5/2 with Lifesteal. Not great. And here, this is new too. A 4-cost 4/2 Wandering Forge. +1/+1 and Overwhelm while you have a relic. So with a relic, it's a 5/3 with Overwhelm. It seems okay. Nothing super exciting. Ooh, we got another legendary. First though, Monolith Guardian. A 4-cost 1/1 that gets +6/+6 while you have a relic. It's another relic payoff card. Kind of pair up with Ancient Bauble or other low-cost relics. Not sure that that's a competitive strategy, but it is interesting and something definitely worth taking note of. Headsman's Axe, a 5-cost 0/0 weapon that is +1/+1 for each unit in your void. So that has potential to be really huge. 5 is a lot to pay for a weapon though, especially since it's not a relic weapon. Savage Skybrood, a 1-cost 0/2 flyer. When you play another dinosaur, Savage Skybrood gets +1 attack permanently. Alright, that has potential to be really aggressive in a dinosaur deck. Copperhall Marshal, we haven't seen that before, 3-cost 3/3. Ultimate, when you play a weapon on Copperhall Marshal, stun an enemy unit. And it is a Gunslinger, as well as a Minotaur, if Minotaur Tribal turns out to be a thing. Alright, and the last card in the pack that's new is this Voracious Fosora. Probably pronouncing that horribly. 3-cost 4/2 with Reckless, so it has to attack every turn. Doesn't seem great. But the legendary, though. Oh, and it is premium. A 5-cost 4/3 Jotun Feastcaller has Aegis. When Jotun Feastcaller attacks, draw 1 card, then increase this ability by 1. Okay, so these are a cycle of things that do things. You know, the dinosaur we saw previously that draws power from your deck, and then increases by 1 each time. Interesting. The cost on this guy isn't as great stat-wise as the dinosaur was, but then again, it does have Aegis. That 3 defense is what worries me. Still though, it seems okay. When it attacks, draw a card. Yeah, I suppose only time will tell how good this guy is, but I'm always a fan of anything that draws you cards. Alright, our rare is Caltrops. We've seen that already. Not real sure that deserves a rare slot, though I guess you couldn't put it at uncommon with the effect of stopping your opponent from playing other cards with the same name. Another intervention. Family Charter. This is a 1-cost factionless relic. Summon, scout, pay 6, and sacrifice Family Charter to draw 2 cards. That seems okay. I mean, it doesn't really affect the game at first. The scout is decent. I could definitely see a deck that's built to care about relics with things that have additional effects if you have one, wanting to play this as a low-cost relic that later in the game, when you no longer need it to trigger your relic-centric cards, just being able to sacrifice it and draw 2 cards. Yeah, seems decent. Another low-cost relic, Cryptic Etchings. Once per turn, you may pay 2 to scout. It's okay. Meditation Trainer. 4-cost 1/5. Your units with 2 or more battle skills have +1/+1. Alright, so battle skills do seem to be an unseen theme, so maybe that's alright. Just the basic 1/5 for 4 stat line's not great. Emerald Waystone, we've seen that before. We've still not seen the Primal Waystone. I'm interested to know what that does. Extinguish. Nightfall, kill a unit with 4 attack or less. Alright, I would be much more impressed with it if it was a fast spell, but I guess that's probably too much on a card that's also got Nightfall on it. Yeah, another Watchman. I can't remember if we've seen Serene Excavator or not. I think we have. Potential 3-cost 2/3 with the Sentinel ally triggered there. And that's it in this pack. Alright, our rare is Tomb Protector. A 6-cost 6/8, so that stat line's awesome. A 6/8 for 6 is great. Your cards can't be stolen while Tomb Protector is ready. Okay, that's an interesting effect. Would definitely be much better if the Tomb Protector had endurance so that you could attack with it and still have it ready on your opponent's turn. Stops Madness and other cards of that ilk. Battlefield Scavenger, that's another one of the cards from the event this weekend. A 2-cost 1/3 with Warcry. Ultimate of pay 5 to draw a Valkyrie from your void and give it Warcry. Winter's Grasp, we haven't seen this yet. A 2-cost curse. Summon Nightfall. The cursed unit is stunned at night. That is interesting. Or maybe we have seen that. We've gone through quite a few cards now, and I'm beginning to lose track. Seen Backpacker's Machete. Pretty sure Last Light Infusion is new to us. 3-cost Nightfall. Give 2 of your units +1/+1. So that's permanently. It's not fast, but it is a Nightfall card. Snowfort. A 3-cost relic. Your units have 1 health. This is the counterpart to the Fire relic that gave all your units +1 attack. 2-cost Unblockable. Summon, gain Nightfall. I think we've seen that before. Seems playable-ish. if you need more Nightfall effects, I suppose. Our rare in this pack is Stone Scar Sneak. Quick draw, pay 3 and exhaust Stone Scar Sneak to give another unit +3 attack and quick draw this turn. Okay. Seems okay. It is a gunslinger. Right, this guy's new. Nocturnal Creeper, Deadly, Summon, Nightfall. 2 1-for-2's okay. Deadly's okay as well. Right, that's all that's new in this pack, but here's another one of those relic-centric guys. Interested to see if that can actually be a thing. Alright, we're back. Had to take a break and do a few things, but let's finish opening the rest of these packs. I think this is a new one. First Shot Rioter. 3 for a 3/2. Gunslinger ally. Play a +1/+1 weapon on First Shot Rioter. These gunslingers are really aggressive. This is new too. 10 cost 6/6. Foraging Sauropod with Bond. When Foraging Sauropod attacks, play a 3/3 dinosaur with Overwhelm. Okay, that's a powerful effect if you can keep it alive long enough to attack a couple of times, because it seems like it does it every single time it attacks. And our rare is Iceberg Mason. A 2 cost 2/3 Yeti with Summon, move each Yeti in your deck 1 card closer to the top. That seems okay. More fodder for a Yeti deck. Alright, this one's new. 2 cost 1/1 Rampart Protector. It's a soldier. When one of your Valkyries dies, play a 2/2 soldier. Not sure about that. Cut Brush Cartographer, a 4 cost 1/3. When you draw a card, it gets +1 attack. Little slow. That's all that's new in here. What's our rare? Inner Fire, 5 cost. Play a 5/5 Infernus. For each of your Grenadin, you may pay 2 and exhaust it to play an additional Infernus. That seems okay. You'd need a ton of power to be able to make this do any amount of damage that's significant, I think. Because it's 5 for the first one, and then 2 for each additional one. Though I guess for, say, 9 mana, you make 3 5/5s with Charge and Overwhelm. Maybe it's worth it. I don't know. Kind of hard to evaluate this type of card. It is interesting, though, that's for sure. Alright, we see our first Islands intervention. Still haven't seen Primal Waystone, I don't think. Deal 3 damage to an enemy unit with flying, or negate a 3 cost enemy spell. So not 3 or less or 3 or more, exactly 3 cost. That's interesting. Or your Yeti get +3 health this turn. It's very weird to me that the Islands intervention has an option to do something with Yeti. That seems strange, and yet maybe pretty good too. Anyway, that seems okay. As always, options are great. Staff of the Archmagister. +1 for each spell in your void. We've seen that before, right? I think so. Alright, I think Scrap Hound's a new one. 1 cost 1/1. It's a Grenadin. Ultimate, pay 4 and sacrifice another unit to give Scrap Hound +2/+2. If it was a Grenadin, Scrap Hound gets +4/+4 instead. That, again, is interesting and really adds to a Grenadin strategy. I think I'd be more impressed if it had Overwhelm, or if sacrificing a Grenadin gave it Overwhelm, but still. Alright, what about our rare? Shieldsmith, a 4 cost 0/5 with lifesteal. When you lose armor, Shieldsmith gets that much attack. Again, a card I'm not quite sure how to evaluate. It's an interesting effect for sure, something we've never seen before, I don't think. Time will tell. My first impression is that it's not super great. Ooh, we got another legendary. Skywalk Enforcer is a new one, a 3-cost 1/4 with flying. When you play a curse, it gets +2 attack. That's cool. Moondial's a new one. So Relic. Summon Nightfall. Once per turn, you may pay 5 to draw a card. Cool. Very interested to see how Nightfall pans out. And that's all of the new ones in this pack. What about our legendary? Crown of Authority, a 7-cost Justice Relic. Units you draw get +2/+2. Ultimate, pay 7 to draw a unit of your choice with cost 7 or more from your deck. Not real sure about that. I know there is a deck that occasionally shows up that's like mono Justice control with a bunch of Valkyries and Flyers. Maybe this fits into that? I don't know for sure. Deepwood Ranger, 5-cost 4/4. Summon Deepwood Ranger, gets +2/+2 for each of your units with 2 or more battle skills. Alrighty. That is the theme among Unseen, isn't it? Battle skills. Strategize, 2-cost spell. Draw 2 cards, then put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. That's interesting. I think that's probably better than the version we have now where you draw 2 and then put a card from your hand back on top of your deck. Tempered Sentinel, I think that's new. A 6-cost 5/3 with charge and bond. Not really exciting. And then our rare. Novus Herdrider, 7-cost 6/8. Fate, the explorer or dinosaur in your hand with the least health gets +1/+1. Not real excited about that either. I mean, its stats aren't too bad for 7, but it's a little, again, hard to evaluate. I don't know if dinosaurs and explorers are going to be a thing, and even if they are, I'm not sure that this is an effect that they would. Arachnophobia, that's new. 1-cost curse. Summon Nightfall. When the cursed unit dies, play a 1/1 spider with deadly. I'm not sure that I'm a fan of these curses that require what they're cursing to die before they do something. Seems like a lot of work to put in. You're playing this and it does like absolutely nothing until you do something else to kill the thing you just cursed. I mean, maybe the Nightfall's worth it? I remain skeptical. And then our rare is Tomb Protector. We've seen that before. Gun Rustler's new, 6-cost 4/2 Gunslinger. Summon, Gun Rustler steals all weapons from an enemy unit. Would be great, I guess, in a Gunslinger mirror, if Gunslinger decks are wanting to run multiple weapons, which it seems like they would be. The problem is that you can't count on playing against that on ladder. Maybe in a dedicated tournament where you have a sideboard, this would be a good sideboard card. And then our rare, Mirus Nightshade. Seems like a named character, or maybe Mirus is a location, so it's a Nightshade of Mirus. 2-cost 3/2. +1/+1 while an enemy is cursed. Ultimate, pay 5 to play Nyctophobia on an enemy player. And on the tooltip we see over here, Nyctophobia is 5 cost, so it must be a card in and of itself. Summon Nightfall. Night deals +1 damage to the cursed player. Okay, so her stat line's great anyway. 2 cost for a 3/2 is awesome. And then paying 5 gives her the ability to trigger her own +1/+1 plus get additional advantage. Seems quite strong. So if Nightfall decks are a thing, Mirus Nightshade is probably an auto-include. Alright, this one's new. 4-cost 0/3 weapon, flying, summon Scout. So it gives a creature flying and lets you scout, plus buffs its defense a bit. And then our rare, a 3rd Tomb Protector. Not Sure, I'm super happy about pulling 3 Tomb Protectors, but maybe they'll turn out to be just great. I think we've seen Crackshot Fugitive before, but I'm not really sure, so we're going to go over it just to make certain. It's a 2-cost 2/2 Gunslinger. When it attacks, she gets +1/+1 this turn for each of your units wielding a weapon. That sounds familiar. We've gone through a lot of cards so far, though. And then our rare is Dig Site, another relic. A 3-cost. When you play a Sentinel, your explorers get +1/+1 this turn. Summon. You may put a unit or another relic into its owner's hand. Interesting. Another card that seems more like a sideboard staple than anything. That's one thing I really wish they would do in this game, is include an in-client way for people to run tournaments that would allow for sideboards and things to where it wasn't just ladder. I know they have tournaments outside the client, but that's a bit of a hassle with the organization of it. It would be awesome if it was supported within the client itself. Ooh, another legendary. We've been pretty good pulling legendaries. Feels like we've had a really good ratio. We finally get to see a Cobalt Waystone. Gain Primal. Then if you have 4 Primal, you gain an Aegis. That's really good. Especially for the decks that would want that effect, like a control-ish deck such as Feln or Chalice. Getting a free Aegis is ridiculously good. I think Baying Sarasaur is new. Summon Nightfall. When you draw a card, Baying Sarasaur gets +1/+1 this turn. We may have seen that before, but I don't remember it. 3 costs 2/2. Into the Furnace is one we haven't seen before, I think. A 2-cost spell that deals 2 damage to a unit. If you have a Grenadin in your Void, Into the Furnace deals double damage. Interesting. More support for the Grenadin deck. And the second Crown of Authority. Well, I would much rather have seen another different legendary, but that's fine as well. Twilight Hermit's one I don't think we've seen before, a 2-cost 1/1 Shaman. When you start your turn at night, transform Twilight Hermit into a 5/3 Twilight Prowler with Reckless. That seems okay. If you can cast him on turn 2 and then guarantee the next turn or the turn after to flip it into a 5/3, that seems pretty good. And then our rare is another Inner Fire. That one is a premium. Probably will dust that. I don't think we've seen Tower Shield before. A 6-cost 1/3 weapon. You gain armor equal to the wielder's health. Not real sure about that. Probably a decent draft weapon. And then our rare is Sandspitter, a 4-cost 5/2. Summon, increase the cost of each spell in the enemy hand by 1. That's an interesting effect that may actually be useful. Yeah, that thing has potential, I think. And our last pack? Come on, one more legendary, please. And we didn't get it, but that's fine. We've had good luck so far. And our rare is Twilight Hunt, a 1-cost spell with Nightfall. Give one of your units Killer. If it's a dinosaur, it gets +1/+1. That is a very good card for a dinosaur deck, I think. Xenon Initiation is already a heavily played card, and in a dinosaur deck, this is just strictly better. Well, unfortunately, that is the end of our pack opening session. Hopefully this has been an informative, or at least entertaining, video for you. Thank you so much for watching. If this was indeed something that you enjoyed, let me know in the comments and by leaving a like below so that I can gauge whether this is a worthwhile type of content to put out on the channel. And of course, subscribe if you'd like to see more in the future. I have been Tevaron, and until next time, friends, be excellent to each other.